Welcome to Sunny's Stampin' Studio, and today we're doing a little card that I made called Peas on Earth. Now, it's not my idea. Once again, I always find my ideas somewhere online or looking through magazines or things like that. And it was actually a stamp that I saw by Penny Black, and it was a bunch of little peas on the earth. And the caption was Peas on Earth. So I did my own take on it, same layout as the stamp, but of course with little punched shapes and cut shapes. So it's pretty simple. All we're going to need is our circle scissor plus or calisel, whatever you have to cut circles, and you're going to cut out an old olive piece, a taken with teal piece. We're going to use our flower punch, which I'm having problems picking up right now, and we're going to punch out a red 5-petal flower, and we're going to cut out or punch out 3 1/2-inch certainly celery circles. So those are pretty simple supplies. The other thing you're going to need is a template of some sort. Now, I actually just originally free-handed my template for the earth, but a lot of people I know absolutely hate when I say the word free-handing. So downloadable, I do have a little copy over here that you can just print off, and it's actually the exact same size. As long as you put it to 100%, it'll be the exact same size as my circles here. So that will also give you a guide as to how big I did it. So we're going to get started. First, we would actually take that template which I just showed you, and you're going to cut out the pieces. So I just did kind of a rough thing over here. Oops, flip that over. And you're going to decide where you want the pieces. It'll be something like that. And then you're just going to cut them out. Okay? So you would trace them with your pencil. Just lightly follow, like hold it down, follow along, and trace out the shape. Once it's traced out, you're going to cut it. So, of course, to save time, since I really don't think you want to sit here watching me cut, I already cut out my pieces and have them ready to go. And I have a little bottom piece here. Couldn't find my template that was already cut. So we're going to put these aside for now, and we're going to start with our earth pieces. I'm going to be using today some old olive ink, some garden green ink, some Night of Navy ink, and some Bravo Burgundy. I'm going to start by sponging up my earth. Actually, I'll bring it in a little closer. There we go. And I'm going to go in with my olive. Whoops. I'm going to bring it in a fair bit because I really want to add a little texture to my little land masses. Now, remember, these are just approximations. Please do not think that you're going to be getting an exact representation of the earth. I didn't really want to sit there that long trying to get it perfect, and I want to make it easy for everyone to cut. So these are just approximations and nothing more. Okay. Just going to move these around. Now this is a bit of the little slower part, unfortunately. But again, this is when you do punch cards, sponging and coloring is really what makes the piece. It is just not the same when you don't do this. I find it looks really flat and not half as appealing. Oh, okay, this is the more of a pain piece. Okay, so we're done with our old olive for now. I'm going to take some garden green, and I'm just going to add a little bit of a darker haze along the edges. Okay. I'm just doing this quick again. I might take a little more care if I was, didn't have my 10-minute limit. But since I do, and since, there's limited time you have to watch me here, I'm going to try and speed this up. Okay, so our earth pieces are done. I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to take my actual earth. I'm going to use Night of Navy to darken it up. Now, you really do, you can even use black for this, although I find the blue adds a nicer touch. On my actual card backing, you'll see that it's matted onto, the earth is matted onto a Night of Navy cardstock. I actually did use black to sponge up that cardstock, and it just makes it a little bit more of a contrast on it. And then I punched the little stars out of my cardstock with my 1/8 punch, my 1/16 punch, and my standard hole punch, just to really make it look like they're standing in outer space. Okay, so our earth is done. You can see that there. We'll put that one aside. I'm going to take my 5-petal flower, and I'm going to take my Bravo Burgundy, and I'm just going to ink it up. These are going to be the little pieces that I used to make up the peas hat. I have to tell you, this is very challenging for me to have to work quickly. I'm not exactly a fast worker. Okay, so we have that one inked up with Bravo Burgundy. Now I'm only going to do up one pea for you to see. I'm going to start off with some Old Olive, and I'm going to hold my shape down with my finger, not my nail, because I don't really want to leave any indents. And I take my little Certainly Celery 1/2-inch circle punch, and I'm going to ink up half. I want to leave that nice little pale area there, which is going to really add the dimension to my pea. And then I'm going to sponge it around like that, and then I'm going to take a little bit of Garden Green and then just add a little bit more of a haze. If you wanted to add even an extra punch, you could take some of that Night of Navy and add a bit of blue there just to liven it up even more. Okay, now for my pea. Once I have that done, I'm going to bring this in even closer. You're going to see I got my little pea over there. I'm going to want to put a little face on him. I'm going to move him this way because this is where the shadow will be coming from. And he's going to have little closed eyes, so I'm going to put a nice little smile on his face. Okay, and then you can do different expressions on the peas. I'll show you on a blank pea here. If you want to do him with his eyes open, just draw up some little circles like that, and again a nice little smiley face. Okay, so that's going to be the expressions on our peas. You have the two different expressions going on. And then for their hat, I take my 5-petal flower punch, and I'm going to cut off a section of it like this. Okay, I'm going to take my tweezers. I'm actually going to hold it on this end like this, and I'm going to take my 1/2-inch circle punch, and I'm going to place it in here to create the rounded band of the hat there. Okay, so that I keep that piece there. That just fell out. Oops. And it's this that I'm going to glue to my pea, like so. Now if you don't want him to have a little peaked hat, you may change it up a little bit, put it behind him, or just take it in your hand and cut it to a little bit more of like a side peak or something. Just basically play around to give it more of a little hat shape. Okay, there. Sorry, maybe have this in too close. And then you're just going to glue the hat to the top of his head like so. Okay, now I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to take back my earth, and to put the earth together, scroll out, you're just going to take each piece in your tweezers, you're going to flip it over, you're going to grab your glue, and just put a thin line of glue and glue your piece directly to your earth. Okay. Same with your other piece. Don't want a lot of glue because you don't want it squishing out the sides of it. Okay. Just shift that over a little bit. Okay, so there's our little earth. And I seem to have misplaced the last little bottom piece, but that's okay for now. And for my pea, just take his hat, add a little dab right like that, and pop it on his head. Now to get that white look, I actually found some kind of puffy applique fabric paint at the dollar store in their craft section, so I actually just popped that on. But if you don't have that, you can use a white gel pen, and all of these pieces are just placed as so on the card, and you can pop them up on pop-up dots just to give them the added dimension. So you'd have your 3 pieces kind of lined up over top like this. So thanks again for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this week's project, and I'll see you again next week.